Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis, and I always like to introduce this wonderful team that God has provided to me because I couldn't do this without them, so I'm really happy. Let's start out with my faithful assistant, Faith. Faith has basically been my assistant since the day she was born. She helped her dad at the sound booth while she was a little baby. And then when she got old enough to crawl, she crawled right up on the podium. Like that's where on the stage, like that's where she needed to be. So we started putting her on the podium when I would do announcements. And I think people paid more attention personally. But anyway, she grew up about 6 blocks from my house. And when she was about 14 and a half years old, she said, I want a real job. So I hired her for my business, my other business, my ozone business. And then when the pandemic hit, she became my assistant here. So she's now 19 and on her own, graduated from high school, all that good stuff. So, and she's still my assistant all these years later. So she is the person behind the scenes that does all the work. I just talk. That's all I do because I can't multitask and talk at the same time. For some reason, I get really sidetracked and can't think about what my next statement's going to be. So if you say hi, hello, good morning, like we ask you to, she's the one that answers you. And I always go back later and just make sure there isn't a question that she hasn't answered. But she knows me better than I know myself. So usually we always like to laugh and say we have one brain between us. And so she's the one that answers all of that. So as me. And she's also our soloist. And today she's going to be singing Rainbow by
Kesha.
Sasha?
Kesha.
Yeah. And so you're going to love it. I know I loved it when she proposed the idea because this is Pride Weekend. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, how to be ourselves, how to be authentically ourselves. So that's going to be perfect. Thank you, Faith. I love you. And then there is my partner in crime, the wise and powerful Oz, who has been by my side for many, many, many years. I've known him since 1998 when he came to the Denver church. And he followed me over to my new church in 1999. I guess we started in November of 1999.
Drafted the corporation papers.
What's that?
We drafted the corporation papers together.
The incorporation papers in November of 1999. Yeah, absolutely.
First service in January of the new millennium.
Yes, that was kind of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he was my first baby practitioner, meaning he took all of his training with me. And then he was my board president for a number of years and then moved away to Florida. So we lost the ability to have him be our practitioner of the day and be on the pulpit with me and everything. Well, when the pandemic struck and we started using this software, we were able to reach out and have him back with us again. As of today, he's in Wisconsin because why would you stay in Florida over the summer? And then he'll go back to Florida. When are you going back? October?
October sometime.
Yeah. But anyway, because of the software, we have him available to us. So he is our practitioner of the day, meaning that he is going to do the invocation and the benediction. And then he's available at the end for our 1-minute miracle, which I'll talk about later. But it's so good to have you with us. Thank you. I love you. All right. So today's topic is actually, I love myself the way I am because I really want us to be more authentically ourselves, let's put it that way, as a celebration or as a tribute to the Pride Weekend that's going on right now. So as I said, if you're here, please say hi, hello, good morning. Let us know you're here. When we're in a facility, I can look out and see who's here, see the shining faces beaming back at me. I don't have that capability here. I only see a number. I don't even get to see names. So it's very helpful to me if you will say hi, good morning, and hello. All right. There's a watch party button that is perfect for you to introduce your friends to the kind of service we have here on Sundays. You click on the watch party button and you invite all your friends and you can talk amongst yourselves because it's a private chat and you're not bothering anybody. So click on that watch button and invite all your friends. All right. I'd like to invite you now to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
I know that right here, right now, I take the time to make a consideration of my existence, made up of millions and billions of cells, each operating seamlessly in a flow that keeps me alive. And that I know that this is true for each of you out there and for the interconnected and amazing, miraculous system that we call life here on Earth. And then I also know that there are millions and billions of other planets that have the same thing going on, and that it all just works seamlessly, effortlessly through the power of the one great thing that we call God. I know its presence permeates all of existence, all of time and space, and things that we cannot comprehend. And I know that its blessings pour forth as each and every one of us. I know that this is a good thing, and I sit in awe at the amazement of all of these things. I know it is good and very good, and I let it be so. And it unfolds, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. Let's see, he asked me to mute him. There we go. I got you muted now. All right. This next song is one that Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver wrote when she was in practitioner training. And it's a really great way for us to remember that we are connected to all of life. So here we go.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one
are all one in it. Like I said, if you're here, please say hi, good morning, hello. Let us know you're here. If you're stopping by later, say hello just so I know somebody stopped by. And if you like something that you hear, either that's something that I say or Oz prays or Faith sings, by all means, use that like button. If you love it, send us hearts. We love to get love. And if something strikes you as really powerful, by all means, use that wow button. It lets me know when I'm on track, and we really like that feedback. So thank you very much for all of that. Without further ado, we are going to have Faith singing Rainbow by Kesha.
Thank you. And happy Pride. I used to live in the darkness, dressed in black, act so heartless, but now I see the colors are everything. Got kaleidoscopes in my hair too. Got back the stars in my eyes too. Now I see the magic inside of me. Got me, my head's messed up. I'm falling back in love again. Alive, dreaming in light, light, light. This skinny girl lost her mind. Been looking for the stars inside, and it'll be alright. Look to the sky. Found a rainbow, rainbow, baby, trust me, I know. Life is scary, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and play along with me tonight. I forgot how to daydream. So consumed with the wrong things, but in the dark, I realize this life is short. And deep down I'm still a child, playful eyes wide and wild. I can't lose hope. What's left in my heart is made of gold. And I know that I'm still messed up, but are we all beloved, darling? Our scars make us who we are. And when the winds are howling strong, and you think you can't go on, hold tight, sweetheart. You'll find a rainbow, rainbow, baby, trust me, I know. Life's scary, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and play along with me tonight. You gotta learn to let go. Put past behind me, trust me, I know. The ghosts try to find you, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight. Na 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 na. Ooh, ooh, da 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 da. Rainbow, rainbow, baby, trust me, I know. Life is scary, but just put those colors on, girl. You gotta learn to let go. Put past behind me, trust me, I know. The ghosts try to find you, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight. Oh, put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Come and paint the world with me tonight.
Okay, this time I think it is. Was I right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I was trying to get to pause before the next song started.
I know, right? Oh, goodness. Thank you so much. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you. I love that song because it really is about the different colors of life. That's what the rainbow signifies in the pride, is that there's so many differences among all of us, and we celebrate those differences. For those of you who might have just tuned in because of Pride Week, in honor of Pride Week, we are doing I'm perfect just as I am, or I love myself the way I am, because pride is a celebration of being authentically who we are. And so many times we envy others. We think, we're not good enough somehow, or that other person has a much better life. And I can guarantee you their life does not look as good on the inside as it does on the outside. So we don't want to do that. We need to be okay with who we are, because I'm the most perfect me I can be. No one else could ever do me the way I do me, right? And that's really, all of us need to recognize that no one else could ever be who we are. They can try, but it only works to a certain extent, because each of us has a very special gift. I used to have this friend that said, I am special. And I used to think, no, you're unique, because if you were special, then everybody would have to be special, and then there wouldn't be any special. But she was unique. And I think when we look at snowflakes, that's what we see, is that there is a unique pattern to each snowflake that is different from all other snowflakes. And it isn't that one snowflake is special. It's that uniqueness is very important to the world. And I know that if everybody was exactly like me, I'd be bored. I'd be bored to tears. I don't want my friends to be just like me. I want my friends to be different colors of the rainbow, because it's really important that we have those experiences of other people who bring a different facet of life into our lives. And so I like it that my friends are very different. I have very diverse friends. None of them are anything alike. And I like that. I just love that diversity. When I teach class, this is the thing that I always do. There's a song from Louise Hay that is, I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. I can sing it for you, but it's probably not going to be pretty. But anyway, I give that to my students in foundations right away and say, play this every day, because it's a great meme to get in your mind. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. Loving yourself doesn't mean that you don't strive for a better you. It just means that you love yourself right where you are. You don't want to be like anybody else. You don't want anybody else to be like you. You are who you were supposed to be, right? Everything in our lives has led up to who we are. I've had a lot of difficult things that have happened to me in my life, and I like to think they made me who I am. That's how I got through them. I was raped. I was beat up and left for dead in the parking lot of a nightclub. All of those things I could have carried with me the rest of my life as traumatic events, and that I suffered from PTSD from them. But instead, I tended to look at it like those experiences made me who I am. Not just those experiences, but all of the experiences that I've had, because I would not be who I am today had I not had those experiences. And I think that we tend to look at these experiences that happen to us, again, to us. For those of you who ever tuned into my visioning sermons, you know that we don't believe that things happen to us. Do I feel responsible for my rape? Do I feel responsible for being beat up? No. What I do know is that God doesn't set up lessons for us on this life. I know a lot of people teach that God set up a lesson plan and we're just living through that lesson plan. But I don't really believe in a God that sets up lessons for us. I believe in a God that lets us learn our lessons that we set up. And so I feel like I come to this life thinking these are the lessons I need to learn. And so I create circumstances, not consciously, please understand, I'm not blaming anybody for things that have happened to them, but subconsciously, I set myself up for these experiences that are going to teach me the lessons that I feel like is my lot to learn in this lifetime. And so as those circumstances have happened in my life, I have grown from them. I've been watching this series that was based on Sex and the City. It's like 20 years later or something, and it's called And Just Like That. But Carrie Bradshaw says in the trailer for this series, and I just love it, is we don't move on because it's time to move on. We move on because we have outgrown the version of ourselves that we used to be. And I love that idea because we are ever evolving. Yes, we were created perfect. You know, we're made of God stuff, and God doesn't make junk. So we were created perfect, but we always have an evolving beingness. And because of that, all of the circumstances that we find ourselves in help us evolve to that level that we were supposed to evolve to, based on what we set up in our lifetime. I'm always interested in how people compare themselves to others. Either they come up short or they come up better than the other person, or something like that. But competition only leads you to feel worse about yourself. We are divine beings created exactly the way we were supposed to be. And we are human doings living out the experience of being human. But we have that spiritual basis because we were made of God. And we were created perfect, although sometimes we don't act perfectly. Trust me, I don't act perfectly all the time. But our uniqueness is how we have customized, so to speak, that special part of us, that special beingness of ourselves that is God living through us. And I don't try to be like anyone else. In the beginning, when I was in the school of ministry, I had 5 mentor ministers that were teaching me. And I looked to them at the beginning, I looked to them for, I want, like Reverend Dr. Kathleen Vogt's voice was so smooth and calming. And I just loved her voice, and I really wanted her voice. And when I look back now or listen back to the sermons that I did from the pulpit, my voice was calm and it was soothing. It may not be here in this situation because it's a lot harder to modulate my voice here. But when you have a microphone on, you can take it down to the very nice calm, or you can really shout out something. And so I realized that I developed a very soothing, calm voice, but it wasn't Kathleen's voice. And that was important for me to recognize that I didn't want to be Kathleen. I wanted to be me, and I wanted those qualities in her voice. Dr. Fred Vogt, her husband, was the most authentic person I think I've ever met. He said, "You will see the same person in the pulpit that you will see on the street." And it was always about that authenticity for him. He made sure that people recognized him as the same person. And I strive for that very thing, because I realized that if I'm living authentically as myself, people are drawn to me, and in every circumstance. So I try 100% to authentically be me, whatever that is. And you get me with all of the flaws. You get me with the warts and all, because if I wasn't that, if I wasn't authentic, if I strive to be this perfect person, then nobody would be able to relate to me. I think the reason that people like listening to me is because I'm like a normal person. And they can relate to the experiences I've had and the circumstances I've lived through. And because of that, they know that they too can grow past all of that, right? If I was this perfect person up there on a pulpit, or on a, pedestal, if I was up there on a pedestal, people would say, well, she can do that, but I can't. And so I always like to be authentically me, making sure that everybody knows that this is who I am all the time, 100% of the time. I don't always get there, but I try really hard to do that. Whether I'm with family or friends or in the pulpit or on the street or whatever I'm doing, I try to be authentically me at all times. And then Dr. Marjorie Stamm, for instance, her big thing was look for the good and praise it. And she actually lived her life with that philosophy. I roomed with her one time in Puerto Vallarta, and she swung her feet over the bed first thing in the morning, and she said, "Praise God, this is the day that God has made." And I realized at that moment that she truly does live what she teaches. She used to teach, she had these little like affirmation cards that we would put up on the mirrors and everywhere else. And it said, look for the good and praise it. And, you know, when I was getting those, I'm like, oh, that's really a wonderful idea. But it wasn't until I roomed with her in Puerto Vallarta that I went, oh my God, she actually lives what she teaches. And so I learned from those three in particular all of the things that have made me the minister that I am today. We used to go to Reverend Dr. Kathleen Vogt and Dr. Fred Vogt's for peppers and sausage. It was during Christmas time. It was our Christmas celebration together. And it was really interesting because right before Kathy died, we had the last celebration with her. And I mentioned to Kent and Kathleen Rautenstrauss, you know, how old is Melody now? And they said 26. And it just struck me that we had been doing this since she was a baby. She was a little baby when we started doing it. So we got together for this Christmas thing for 26 years. And one of the things that I really loved about all of that is that because Kathy and I, you know, I went to work for her, and then she was my teacher. Then I went to work for her, and then we became really close friends. But what I realized in the 26 years that I had been going to this Christmas thing, there were 3 Kathleens there, and I learned who I am from all of them. It's kind of funny to recognize that you got this from this person, you got that from that person, you got this from this person. Not that I emulate them exactly, but I developed these qualities because I would admire them in these people. And then I would develop those qualities within myself, but I did it my way. And that's really what it means to be authentically yourself. And I think that pride, because the LGBTQA community has really experienced a lot of judgment and ostracizing and that kind of thing, that they've had to learn to be who they are, authentically be who they are and be proud of it. And that's what pride really signifies. And so as we're celebrating this weekend, that's what I want us to get, because it doesn't matter that, you know, we're not LGBTQA, that we may be allies. We may not be allies. We might just be just us, right? But when we're authentically us, and when we're willing to break out of the customized norms to be ourselves, we offer to the world a very special gift, a unique gift that no one else can give. And that's really what's important. But we have to learn to love ourselves just the way we are. I know that sometimes that can be difficult. Sometimes it feels like I want the world to be a certain way so I can be happy. Or sometimes it feels like I want the world to be a certain way so I can be myself. And it's only in our stepping out and accepting ourselves right where we are that we find love. Because what happens if we are less than that, if we don't love ourselves completely, we're looking for someone to complete us. And once we love ourselves, we are looking for people who add to our experience. And that's a whole different thing because we already love ourselves. So that's really what I want to focus on, is how to love ourselves completely, honestly, authentically, and be who we are. I watched this movie one time. It was a documentary about this woman that was born without hands or legs. And it was amazing because, you know, some of us would have had the experience of like, oh my God, there's nothing I can do. I don't have legs. I don't have feet. I don't have, you know, she got around by using the stumps of her arms to propel her while she walked on basically her hips. She had little stumps that came out of her hips. And watching her go through all of her life, like how she compensated for all of that was an amazing thing to get, because we feel sorry for ourselves when we have a cut on our finger. Like, oh my God, I can't do that now because the cut will hurt. And so I got really inspired by her. She met someone who fell in love with her and married her. And I started thinking about that in terms of, like, if she could find somebody with all of those limitations, if she could find somebody that loved her, then the rest of us have a chance, right? And so that became the lesson for me in that movie, is that no matter who or what we look like or how our body functions or any of that, there is somebody for us. And we get caught up in this, I have to look a certain way, I have to, even guys do it. It cracks me up. Am I macho enough? Guys are funny. I lived with 2 millennials for a while, 2 millennial males. And they were funnier than anybody I've ever met. I just laughed every day because of the machinations they would go through to make sure that they looked hot. And they would come to me and say, don't I look hot? Before they'd go out into the world. It was just funny. But I thought about how we get so focused on looks, and we start thinking that our place in the world is better because we look good, or that we somehow contribute to the world better if we look good. And it's really not about the looks. It's about how we feel about ourselves. In one of my classes, we were talking about relationships, and we got on the topic of, when you're in love, people fall in love with you because you exude this personality, this energy of being in love. And who doesn't fall in love with that energy, right? And so I guess what I'm saying is, when we fall in love with ourselves, when we truly have fallen in love with ourselves and we are authentically ourselves, people are drawn to us because the energy of that says love. The energy of that says, this is it. This is the real me. And so Helen Keller was another one that really inspired me, because she was born, she wasn't born that way. She had a virus when she was like 6 months old or something, but she became what they called back then deaf, blind, and dumb. Nowadays we say mute, but she couldn't see, she couldn't hear, and she couldn't talk. And, in the beginning, she threw tantrums. She really threw tantrums, because imagine how frustrating it would be to not have any sensory input into your ears or into your eyes and know what's going on, and then not be able to communicate. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot to deal with. And they found this teacher for her, Anne Sullivan, who actually ended up living with her entire life. And Anne Sullivan figured out that if she did these signs in Helen Keller's hand, she could let her know what was going on. And the two of them built a language together. And Helen Keller went on later in life to be the most well-read woman of her in history, and lectured. And she, of course, would do the signing, and Anne Sullivan would be her voice. But it was amazing how far she went in life, because she didn't sink into the, oh, poor me, look at what my life is. How often do we do that? When something happens, we retreat into ourselves, and we feel like we can't go out in the world and accomplish anything. But if these ladies, Helen Keller, this lady from the movie, I wish I could remember the name of the movie. There's a lot of people like that. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is another one. These women, these people, have taken all of these so-called limitations and built a life that is incredible. And so if we could just use them as inspiration, not that we want to become Helen Keller, or we want to become that woman in the movie, or we want to become Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's not about that, but it is about developing the character by utilizing and emulating the qualities that you see in that person that you admire, and you want to create those or cultivate those for yourself. I know that's how I became who I am, and I know that that's how life works. We can stay in our shell and we can just be less than for the rest of our lives, or we can actually step out and be who we are, and be like the butterfly that changes the wind, like I said the other day. Because if God is for us, who is there to be against us, right? God is for every one of us. There is not, I love the version of God that we teach, because it's not a version of God that chooses one person over another, that says, I like you because you are a man, or I like you because you're straight, or I like you because you're white, or anything like that. It's a version of God where all of us are chosen by God equally. Because if God is for us, then who could be against us? And I think that's what our mantra needs to be in life. When we start feeling like somebody is acting against us, or things are happening to us, I think we need to remember that what we're made of is God. And if God is for us, who could be against us? And that's where jealousy and coveting comes in, because when I feel less than, when I feel like I can't be authentically myself, that's when I start coveting that other person's life. But trust me, when you see the life of that person behind closed doors, it's much different than the persona that the rest of the world sees. So I want us to remember that, because nobody's life is perfect. I absolutely believe that no one's life is perfect. It can appear perfect from the outside, but there is always something going on behind closed doors that we don't know about. I had this friend who was so happy, I thought, all of the time when I was much younger. And I always thought that I just wanted her life, because it just seemed like everything happened so easily for her. She got the great job. She got the great apartment, and later on the great house. She got the great husband. She got all of that stuff. And I kept thinking, my God, she just lives this charmed life. And then behind closed doors, I got to see the real her. And it was like, wow, she was depressed. She was taking over-the-counter drugs or prescription drugs to feel better in life, so that she could be happy on the outside, so to speak. And once I got that glimmer of that, I finally went, oh my God, I have been constantly looking at her life and thinking, I just want that life. Well, when I got to see what she was really living, that she was unhappy no matter how perfect the husband seemed to be, or how perfect her house appeared to be. She was OCD about keeping it clean. It was just all of those things. When I realized how unhappy she was, it finally clicked in me that her life was not perfect. And then I started looking around at other people's lives, and I realized that their lives were not perfect either. And I stopped beating myself up for not having that perfect life, because that's what we do. We're human doings that like to beat ourselves up for everything that we experience, because we feel somehow less than. So that is the problem with comparing ourselves to others. Who we are is perfect just the way we are, and yet we want to grow. And it's really important that we remember that we know that we are perfect just as we are. God doesn't make junk. So there can't be an imperfect you, right? Because God would then have made a mistake, right? So I believe in a God that doesn't make junk. I believe in a God that makes everything perfect. And so we start out as this perfect being, no matter what. And it is the outer circumstances of our lives that create the personality that we are. But in the inside, we are still that perfect being. And we can always outpicture that perfect being anytime we so choose. It is a choice to outpicture something different than that. And so I'm going to close with this quote from Oprah Winfrey, because she's the perfect example of someone who always felt less than and went on to do these great things, and everybody looking at her thinking she had such a perfect life. But she was always in this weight loss journey her whole life. And she said, I finally realized that being grateful to my body was key to giving more love to myself. Because as long as you hate your body, you're not going to lose the weight. You're not going to be in the gym working out. You're not going to be doing any of those things. When you love your body, all of that comes very naturally. But you have to really be grateful to your body for the way it functions and your ability to become more than that, become more than just this body that was created. The body is amazing when you really think about what goes in and what comes out and how that body functions, it's amazing. And I think that if we spent more time in gratitude for that, we would finally start to love ourselves a little bit more. It's more than that. It's not just the body. It's, being grateful for who we are as individuals. Like I said, all of the circumstances that I experienced in my childhood and on made me who I am today. And I'm grateful for who I am today. And I think that that is what each of us needs to get, that it wasn't that any of those things happened to us. They were things that helped develop our character to who we are today. We pull up our bootstraps and we become greater than that experience that happened. And so if you take home anything from this today, what it's going to be is to love yourself, body, soul, spirit, emotions, mind, all of it. Love yourself the way you are. Don't expect yourself to be like someone else. Don't expect yourself, hi Fred, Kathy, Marlene, and Joey. Don't expect yourself to be something that you're not. Be totally authentically you. And when you hear that Pride is happening, please celebrate yourself. You don't have to go to Pride to do it. It's just a reminder that we need to be who we are, and we need to, like the motto there is, we're queer, we're here, we're queer, get used to it. But I think that if more of us carried that in our lives, I'm here and I'm fully me, get used to it. I think that energy will take us further in life than anything else. Let's have a prayer. I just now turn my attention to the infinite power, the infinite presence of God, to that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful God is. And that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages. That is God flowing through us. I know that same truth to be so for this wonderful team that God has lent me to do this work. For we are one in that infinite power, that infinite presence, that infinite life of God. And every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that is God flowing through all of us. I know that same truth to be so for anyone who is watching this, whether that be in real time or later on. Because there is no place where one leaves off and the other begins. We are all connected by it, through it, as it. Mitakuyeos and all my brethren, we are related. And so going into this week, I bless it. I know that it is absolutely filled with experiences where we come out of the experience with love for ourselves. That everything that we do teaches us to love ourselves. Everything that we think is about the love we have for ourselves. I know that that gratitude for our life, for our body, for our beingness carries us through this week to a much better perception of being ourselves authentically. So I know that same truth for every name that is in the ministry of prayer today, because I do know that whatever condition we are experiencing, God is the answer. God is the power under and through and above and in between. And I pull back that veil now, revealing that truth, claiming it as good and very good in their name. And so my heart fills with gratitude to know that this is so, to let it be. And so it is. Amen.
Music. Yeah. We're just gonna play the video.
Almost had dead air there for a minute. All right, now is our time to receive our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express gratitude for that which you have created in the physical reality, or for that which you have created in the mind of God and may not see in the physical reality just yet. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to go to www.oasiscsl.org, and about 2/3 down the page is our offering affirmation, and I'll have you say that with me. Right underneath that is the Contribute Now button. And so I want to talk just a little bit about what you're contributing to so that you understand what you're doing here. We don't have a facility, so you're not paying for rent or utilities or any of the usual expenses that happen in a facility. What you're contributing to is a vision of the world healed and a mission of healing the world one person at a time. And when I say the world, I mean the world, not just the United States. We really strive to be global. And we have people that are attending from the UK, from the Netherlands, although they do it after, usually later, from Germany. But we would really like to be global, and it does take marketing, and marketing costs money. So that's what you're contributing to. So whether you're here in real time or later on, please go with me right now to www.oasiscsl.org. and say this offering affirmation with me, please. This perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive. And so it is. Please hit that Contribute Now button and help us get to our vision and mission. All right. We have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners from coast to coast that make up our God Squad. That's what we call them. They're the healing arm of the church. They're the ministry of prayer for many churches, but in our world, they are the God Squad. And what a God Squad they are, man. They are powerful. And so they are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. You just contact them, either look them up on our website or try to contact them through Facebook, through video chat. Let them know that you, or Messenger, I guess, let them know that you would like a session for spiritual guidance, and they'll tell you how to pay for it. I don't get involved in that. Each practitioner has their own business. So it could be Wise, it could be Venmo, it could be Cash App, could be PayPal. I don't know. I don't get involved. Like I said, that they have their own business. So, but they'll tell you how to pay for it, and they'll schedule an appointment, and then they'll reach out to you by video chat at that appointed time. Our practitioners do pray every day for a week on any requests that come in. So if you want prayer for something, please put it in the comments section. If you don't want it to be public, you can always DM Faith, and she will make sure that the God Squad gets it. And then there's Oz, who's our practitioner of the day, and he's available at the end of the service for what we call our 1-minute miracle. It's not a time for counseling. It's not a time for any of that work. It's only a time where you can share whatever you're experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. And you reach out to him through video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, it's probably because he's on the phone with someone else. So please be patient and call back a little bit later. All right. If you would like to be part of our online community, type more in the comment section, and Faith will add you to our public facing Facebook group that you get all the information about our activities before anyone else gets it, but also it gives you the opportunity to get to know your spiritual community, your spiritual family, and you can talk back and forth through chat. So it's kind of nice to be part of that online community. All right. First, let's do Brooks and Bailey. Let me get up there to that. This is Brooks and Bailey has they make jewelry, and this particular one is a mala bead necklace that's made out of amethyst, so it's $60. But they have other gemstones that are $30 and up. Good quality. The Buddhists and Hindus use the mala beads by doing their chants. They move one bead at a time so that they count off 108. And the bracelets have 54, so they count off 54 twice. But I like using them for affirmations because I tell you to do 100 affirmations a day. So a mala bead necklace is perfect for that. But you reach out to them. You can, all the proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue, which is a very worthy cause. And you can reach out to them through brooksandbailey0307@gmail.com. Also, they have a Facebook page, so you can get to them, Brooks and Bailey. And when they post events that they're going to be out, like they do booths at events, sometimes when they post that, I try to share it because they make wonderful jewelry. They don't have just mala beads. They have all kinds of jewelry. I have a bracelet that I got from them that has like a circle with a bar that goes through it. And I lose bracelets and watches like crazy. And that thing has only come off once in 3 years. So I need to tell you that the quality of the jewelry that they make is really awesome. All right, Faith.
And please check out my metaphysical shop. The website no longer works, but you can view products and order through Instagram and Facebook at The Mystic Brew 303. We have intention jars to help attract whatever you are currently working on, as well as bath salts that have essential oils and herbs in that as well to help focus on whatever you are working on. We also are offering Zumba classes sporadically, so give us a follow. With the new software update, I can't do it on a schedule, but we're working on getting some up. So just keep an eye out and give us a follow.
You can't do it on a schedule?
No, so what they did is I have to go and pre-record everything and then post it, which, as all of you guys know, I'm a part-time college student and full-time employee, and I haven't had time to record them to get them to post them.
Not only she's a full-time employee somewhere else, and then she works for me too. So part-time. So, and goes to school. So yeah, you're a busy lady. We get that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Whoops. And so, excuse me, we also have Angel Renee has a company. She has an Etsy account actually, where she does intention candles and tea bags that you put in your bath water. The herbs apparently help you to focus on whatever your intention is. So that's a perfect adjunct to what Faith is doing as well. All right. Let me tell you about Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver's website real quick. We have this wonderful team, music team, that doesn't appear on camera, but they let us use their music. And Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver is one of them. Now, her website, for some reason, she's not able to update it, so she can't tell you how to pay for anything. So when you go to her website, check out and see which CD you want, and then you'll reach out to her by email. She travels the country singing and has the CDs in the trunk of her car. So you can let her know which CD you want to purchase. She'll let you know how to pay for it, and then she'll send it out, and she's really good about that. And then we have Karen Drucker's website that does work. And so you can, on hers, you can buy either by song book, by karaoke file, by CD. Some of the songbooks actually have American Sign Language in them if you want to learn how to sign one of her songs. So reach out to her and purchase something. These two ladies, like I said, we couldn't do a Sunday service, a real Sunday service without them. Otherwise, I'd be a talking head for an hour, and you know how boring that can be. So we get to have music, and it's like a real Sunday service, and it's because of these two ladies. So we love to support those who support us. So reach out and grab some of their music, please. And then visit our website, www.oasiscsl.org. It is there you're going to find video sermons from the last 3 years, audio sermons from all the years prior. There are pictures of picnics that we've done, the 2 ordinations we've done. Let you get to know some of the spiritual family you will be experiencing if you join our online community. So it's a great way to do that. The video sermons and audio sermons are available. YouTube is video, SoundCloud is audio. You just look it up under S. Tucker, and you can listen to any of those. We are working on the website to get it updated because it is out of date, but that is all updated. So you would be able to get whatever you need from those. All right. Let's see. We are moving into our closing song. This is a great meme to get stuck in your head, by the way.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so glad.
High. I know that right here, right now, the infinite and eternal force of God permeates all of existence, producing us in our multiplicity of variety, and each one unique, like snowflakes, only more so. I celebrate diversity, and I celebrate the perfect person that each one of us is becoming right here, right now. I give thanks for this difference and for all of the infinite, abundant varieties that God provides us. I know this is good and very good, and I give thanks, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you so much, Oz. Thank you all for being here. I know there's 1,000 things you can do on a Sunday morning. We're blessed that you were here with us. So thank you for being here. Make sure and join us next week and every week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. We would love to have your shining face here. In the meantime, stay safe. We love you. Bye.
Awesome.